Right. So, you know how you're always looking to improve your tech setup at home?
Yeah.
Well, you sent us this Amazon listing,
Right.
and it's for these NexusLink GHM Powerline Ethernet adapters, the GPL 1200 CAC height.
Okay.
And it got me thinking, could this be like a secret weapon for getting better internet around the house?
Oh, it definitely can be. Especially, if you're dealing with like
Yeah.
weak Wi-Fi or dead zones.
Yeah, I have both.
It happens to the best of us.
But so just so we're all clear,
Yeah.
the basic idea here is we're using our home's existing electrical wiring
That's it.
to transmit data signals.
Like an extra set of cables for your internet,
Okay.
alongside the Ethernet and Wi-Fi we're used to.
But instead of running Ethernet cables all over the place,
Yeah.
we just plug these adapters into the wall outlets.
Exactly. Think of it like this.
Okay.
You connect one adapter to your router with an Ethernet cable
Okay.
and plug it into an outlet near your router. Then the second adapter goes into an outlet in the room where you want the internet access.
So, like, imagine I'm in my basement, right?
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi is terrible down there.
Yeah, I hear you.
Can I just use these adapters to get a wired connection down there?
That's exactly what they're for.
Yeah.
You're bypassing all those obstacles that can weaken your Wi-Fi signal. Things like thick walls,
Yeah.
appliances, interference from other devices.
I'll say that makes sense.
Plus, and this is important for you,
Yeah.
this NexusLink kit, it's specifically marketed for online gaming
Really?
and video streaming
Oh, wow.
because it uses that GHN standard,
Okay.
which promises speeds up to 1200 mDNA.
1,200 milliliter base. That sounds amazing.
It is impressive.
But, okay, realistically,
Yeah.
is that actually how fast my internet's going to be when I'm gaming?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
So those speeds they advertise, they're theoretical, like maximum speeds.
Okay.
But I've been looking at the Amazon reviews.
Yeah.
And a lot of users are saying they see a big improvement in their connection, especially for gaming.
But it depends, right?
Of course. Of course. It always depends. It depends on a few things, like the quality of your electrical wiring.
Right.
If you have older wiring, it might not be able to handle those super high speeds.
Oh, that makes sense.
And also, the distance between the adapters matters.
Uh-huh.
The further apart they are, the weaker the signal can get. Usually not a big issue within a normal house.
Yeah.
But if you were trying to, say, connect devices in a detached garage,
Right.
you might see slower speeds out there.
Okay. Good to know. What about interference from other devices? Is that something I should be thinking about?
Yeah, you definitely want to be mindful of that. So appliances on the same electrical circuit,
Uh-huh.
they can sometimes interfere with the signal,
Mm.
especially things that use a lot of power.
Okay.
And you know what else people keep saying in the reviews? Don't plug these adapters into surge protectors.
Oh, really? Why not?
Seems like that can actually mess with the signal transmission. It's always best to plug them straight into the wall outlet.
Okay, so it's not quite as simple as just plugging it in and forgetting about it.
Right.
There are some things to consider.
Yeah, but, even with those potential downsides,
Yeah.
Powerline adapters could still be a really good option.
Especially considering how many good reviews this NexusLink kit has.
Exactly. It's got like 4.1 stars from almost 800 ratings on Amazon.
Yeah, that does seem promising.
But to really know if this is the one for you, we should take a closer look at those reviews.
Okay.
See what people are saying, what they like, what they don't like.
All right, let's do it. All right, so we're diving into these Amazon reviews
Let's do it.
for the NexusLink GPL 1200-8. What are people saying?
Well, one of the things that keeps popping up
Yeah.
is how easy they are to set up.
Oh, that's good.
Even people who aren't super techie,
Yeah.
they're saying it's a breeze.
Right.
Like plug and play,
That is good to hear because I'm not the most tech-savvy person.
Well, it sounds like these would be perfect for you then.
That's what I'm thinking.
The instructions are supposed to be super clear and easy to follow.
Okay, that's a big plus for me. But what about the speed? Like, are people actually getting those crazy fast speeds they advertise?
That's a good question.
Like 1,200 millipedes? Is that really happening?
Well, some people say they're getting pretty close,
Really?
but others say their speeds are a bit slower.
Okay, so it varies.
It does. And that's where those factors we talked about come into play.
Right.
Like how good your electrical wiring is,
Right.
how far apart the adapters are. But even the people who aren't hitting the max speeds, they're still saying their connection is way better than their old Wi-Fi.
Okay, so it's still an improvement.
Oh, yeah, especially for things like streaming and gaming,
That's good to know.
those data-heavy activities.
Yeah. Okay, what about reliability? That's a big one for me,
Sure.
especially when I'm gaming. I don't want the connection dropping out in the middle of a match.
Right. Totally get that.
What are people saying about that?
Well, good news there.
Okay.
It sounds like reliability is one of the strong points for this NexusLink kit.
Okay.
A lot of the reviews mention how stable the connection is.
Okay.
Fewer dropouts, less lag.
Compared to Wi-Fi?
Yeah, compared to what they were using before.
Interesting.
And that actually lines up with what we know about power line adapters in general.
Okay.
They tend to be more consistent than Wi-Fi.
That's really good to know. So are there any negative reviews that I should be aware of?
There are a few things that come up,
Okay.
mostly related to signal strength.
Okay.
Some people, particularly those in larger homes,
Mm-hmm.
or if the adapters are plugged into outlets that are on different electrical circuits,
Right.
they say the signal can be weaker
Interesting.
and they see slower speeds.
Makes sense. Like the data has to travel further.
It does. It does.
On a complicated route.
Yeah, like taking the scenic route instead of the highway.
Exactly.
It's going to take longer.
So that's something for me to think about.
Definitely something to consider.
Or my house and my wiring and all that.
Exactly. It's all about getting a clear picture
Yeah.
from people who have actually used the product. you know,
Right.
Their real world experiences.
Okay, so we've been talking about this NexusLink kit, but are there other Powerline adapter brands out there
Oh, yeah, for sure.
that I should maybe be looking at?
Absolutely. There are some other big names in the game
Okay.
that you might want to consider.
Like what?
Well, for starters, there's TP-Link.
Okay.
They're known for making really solid, affordable networking stuff.
Yeah, I've heard of them. What makes them stand out?
Well, one thing I thought was pretty cool,
Yeah.
some of their power line adapters
Yeah.
actually have Wi-Fi extenders built right in,
Oh, wow.
which could be a game changer for you.
You're thinking about my detached garage.
Exactly. You were saying the Wi-Fi is spotty out there.
It's terrible.
So with one of these TP-Link adapters, you could potentially get a wired connection in your basement
Okay.
and boost the Wi-Fi signal to your garage at the same time.
So killing two birds with one stone.
That's the idea. It's like setting up a mesh network,
Oh, wow.
but using your electrical wiring.
That's really interesting.
Pretty cool, right? And then there's Netgear.
Okay, another one I've heard of.
They're known for their higher-end networking gear.
Okay.
Their powerline adapters tend to have more bells and whistles.
Like what kind of bells and whistles?
Well, some of them have pass-through outlets,
Oh, that's nice.
so you don't lose access to that plug on the wall.
Smart.
And they often have advanced noise filtering technology.
Noise filtering, what's that all about?
It helps to reduce interference from other electronic devices,
Okay.
which can be important if you have a lot of gadgets
Yeah, I do.
or if you have any sensitive equipment that you're worried about.
Okay, so we've got TP-Link for Wi-Fi extension, Netgear for the premium features. What about if I'm on a budget? Are there any good options that won't break the bank?
Absolutely. Brands like D-Link and TrendNet,
Okay.
they make some solid powerline adapters
Yeah.
that are still pretty affordable.
Okay, so it's really about finding the right tool for the job.
Exactly.
I don't need all the fancy features if a simpler, cheaper one will do what I need.
That's a great point.
It's not about getting the most expensive thing.
No, not at all.
It's about getting the one that solves my specific problem.
You got it.
Yeah.
There's no single best powerline adapter.
Right.
It all depends on you.
This is so helpful. I feel like I'm actually starting to understand this stuff.
Glad to hear it.
It's not just about grabbing the first Powerline adapter I see on Amazon.
Oh,
There's a lot to consider.
absolutely.
I need to think about my needs, my budget,
Yeah.
my house, my wiring, all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're thinking critically about it,
Yeah.
which is great.
But to really make a decision,
Yeah.
we need to go beyond just the brand names. We got to look at those user reviews.
Right.
What are people actually saying about these adapters?
The real nitty-gritty.
Exactly.
How do they perform? How reliable are they? Are they easy to use?
Okay, let's do it. Let's dive into the reviews. Okay, so I think I have a much better understanding of this whole Powerline adapter thing now.
Good,
We've
good.
covered a lot,
Yeah.
from the basics to like specific products,
Yeah.
different brands, potential problems, all that.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But it's important to be informed, right?
Yeah. So after all this, like, what do you think? Are Powerline adapters the right move for me?
Well, based on everything we've talked about,
Mm-hmm.
I think they could be a really good solution for you,
Okay.
especially for that weak Wi-Fi situation you have in the basement,
Yeah.
especially for gaming.
Right.
Remember, Powerline adapters, they can give you a much more stable connection
Okay.
directly through your electrical wiring.
Right. No more relying on that wonky Wi-Fi.
Exactly. And this NexusLink kit we were looking at,
Yeah.
the GPL 1200 kit,
Uh-huh.
It is designed for gaming and streaming.
Yeah, with those crazy fast speeds.
Up to 1,200 millipiece.
It's pretty impressive.
It is impressive.
And a lot of people in those Amazon reviews, they were saying it's super easy to set up.
Right, which is good for you.
Yeah, because I'm not exactly a tech whiz.
Well, it sounds like this would be a good fit then.
That's what I'm thinking. But, I also want to be realistic.
Of course.
We did talk about some downsides.
We did.
Like interference from other devices.
Yeah.
And the fact that my wiring might not be the best.
Right. Those are things to consider.
So I need to weigh all that carefully.
Yeah, absolutely. But there are ways to mitigate some of those risks.
Okay.
Like for the interference issue.
Yeah.
You could try plugging the adapters into outlets that aren't being used by other big appliances.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Things that draw a lot of power.
Right. What about the wiring? Is there anything I can do about that?
Well, if you're really concerned,
Yeah.
you could always have an electrician take a look.
Okay.
They could give you a professional assessment.
That makes sense. And then there's also the fact that there are other brands out there.
Right?
Like you were saying, TP-Link with their Wi-Fi extender thing.
Yeah, that could be a good option for you.
That would be awesome for my detached garage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could create that whole mesh network.
Yeah.
Cover your whole house with a good, strong signal.
That would be the dream.
And if you're worried about interference, remember, Netgear has those models with the noise filtering.
Okay. Yeah.
So there are options.
So really, it's not one size fits all. It's
Yeah.
about figuring out what I need.
It's important to you.
And finding the power line adapter that fits.
Exactly. And don't forget,
Yeah.
those user reviews are your best friend.
They are.
They'll give you the real scoop.
Okay, so my takeaway here is this.
Right?
Power line adapters seem like a really good solution for my basement Wi-Fi problem, especially for gaming.
Makes sense.
This NexusLink GPL 1200 kit,
Yeah.
it sounds pretty good, but I should definitely look at other brands too.
Right. Compare your options.
Yeah.
See what else is out there.
Think about Wi-Fi extension, noise filtering, and, my wiring situation.
You got it. You're thinking about all the right things.
I'm trying.
That's what matters.
I feel a lot more confident now.
That's great to hear.
Thanks to this deep dive, I know what I'm looking for.
You're ready to make an informed decision?
Exactly. I think it's time to ditch this terrible Wi-Fi and embrace the power of Powerline.
I love it. And hey, if you run into any snags or have any more questions, you know where to find us.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Until next time.
Happy networking.
Happy networking.